Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today, I'm going to walk you through our complete restaurant marketing framework that I've used on my own restaurants, but we also use on our clients to boost their sales. Sort of the first step in our little consulting process. First, just a real quick introduction. My name is Jeremy Hood. I grew up in my father's restaurant. You can see probably since I don't know how old that I was there, but started actually working in the restaurant when I was about 12, doing prep and stuff like that. This is me in college and didn't know it at the time, but actually my future wife, still with her. We have two kids. Went to college, got my degree at UF in accounting. I actually got my license. Um, Public accounting wasn't very much fun, as you can imagine, so came back to help grow the family business. And I quickly realized that we had no marketing in place, so I took it upon myself. I was fortunate enough that it wasn't needed in day-to-day operations, so I got to be that person. I'm sure you've heard the term, you need to work on your business, not in your business. So I sort of got to be that person for us and figure out marketing. Um, using this framework, obviously 2020, we know what happened there, but since then, sales have rebounded and continued to grow, near 2.8 million last year. Profits still staying over 10% despite inflation. So, what we're going to walk through today is a framework. It's not like the latest fad. It works for any restaurant business, any business really. It worked 10 years ago. It works today. It's going to work 10 years from now. This is really the strategy. The tactics might change depending on what platforms are out there and what technology comes in the next few years. But the strategies, you can use on any type of business, any type of restaurant to get similar results. So before we kind of dive too deep into the strategy, I just want to talk a little bit about sales funnels. Because we know there's really only two or three ways to increase your sales, right? Get new customers, get them to spend more money, get them to come in more frequently. So if you want to say there's only two ways, get new customers, make them more valuable. So if you can imagine this funnel, we're throwing in a bunch of people at the top. Maybe they've never heard of us before. Maybe they've dined with you before, but it's been over 6 months. Or maybe they're walking in every day. You just don't have any of their contact information. So we're throwing all these people into the top of the funnel, and we're going to offer them something in exchange for their phone number, email, permission to send them messages on different platforms. And once we have that, we're going to nurture them, and we're going to send them the right message at the right time, giving them reasons to come back in. Especially those newer customers or maybe the lost customers. We want them coming in a couple times relatively quickly those first couple months, so it becomes a habit. And eventually we want this funnel to spit out regulars, which are going to come once or twice a month, spend $50 or so every time they come, and that's about $1,000 a year per customer. And we know, based on several different studies that are out there, each customer over the life that they're going to your restaurant, because people move, on average they spend about $6,000 with you if they're regulars. So we've got this little checklist. There's three parts: capturing, nurturing, converting. We're going to walk through each step of the way. The first thing that we like to have our clients do is decide how are we going to collect this information. There's multiple ways, starting with a pen and paper and a notepad on your cash register, or like on your front counter. But we're going to kind of walk through like the most efficient to the least efficient. So the first thing is your website. If you don't have a conversion optimized website, you're behind already, because you can pretty much guarantee your competitors are doing it. It's your website's really more than just an online flyer. It should be like the marketing hub of your whole business. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. Basically, this is an example of a pop-up. So when someone hits our site, after 3 seconds, this is going to pop up, and you can change the offer. This is just one that we were testing. You want a free sandwich, and depending on the offer and the strength of your brand, anywhere from 2 to 5% of your traffic should convert and should sign up for your newsletter. So this number could vary widely depending on how many people hit your website, but for us it's about 30 to 50 people a week are signing up through this. Here's another example. This is like an embedded form that could be next to your menu or anywhere on the website really, and this form actually connects to our email service provider. So once they sign up, it's all automated, which we'll kind of talk about in a little bit. So if you don't have the ability to update your website frequently or quickly or cheaply, a Google form is free. It works. It's obviously not branded. It takes people away from your website, but it does the job. And you can get email reminders when people fill out the form. You can also export all the responses into an Excel or CSV file. So again, this would probably be like the next best thing besides just automating it through your website or another platform. Comment cards, I'm saying just don't do it, but hey, if you're ready to start something quickly, we've used these in the past, and I was, when I first started reading about direct marketing and building your own list, I was desperate to collect anybody who walked in our door, their information. So we had these sitting out, had a little lockbox that people put them in, and we'd probably get a couple hundred of these a month. And you can see, we're asking for quite a bit of information. The feedback was helpful. We've made changes in our restaurant based on some of their responses. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt though to transcribe this. I mean, I'm sure you've got some younger staff that might be able to take care of this, but it's still a little bit of a manual process. All right, now whatever collection tool you're going to use, you should be using multiple forms just to catch people wherever they are, because not everyone's going to respond to the website. Some people might want to fill out that comment form. You need to decide on what you should collect. At a minimum, email and phone number is probably like your bare minimum, because you want to be able to talk to them. When we first started, when we really built our list to about 10,000 people, these are, I had it all in one master spreadsheet. So these, let me see if I can draw on this a little bit for you. All of these are different tabs in the sheet. And, you can see we had birthdays, anniversaries, we had a kids club, kids birthdays, we had a catering list. I also broke it down like where they came, where were we collecting them, because we had a fishbowl out, we had birthday cards that we were mailing out. So basically the point of this is to show you can collect as much information as you want to give the most specific, the more targeted your message, the better your response rates are going to be. So, if we have a couple hundred people with an anniversary in March and we say like, hey, happy anniversary, come enjoy a free X on us, you better believe we're going to get a pretty high response rate on that, versus sending out something like that to the entire database. All right, now at this point, we need to figure out what can we offer them that doesn't cost us a lot of money, but high perceived value for them in exchange for the information, because they're not going to just give it to us for free. So we're using some software called ManyChat on Facebook to target new customers. Here's one where we were just testing a free sandwich, no restrictions. And it got a lot of people to subscribe for probably less than $1 a piece, and they're still coming into the store and spending like another $7 or $8 on top of that. So that's sort of what we're doing today. When we first started this was my super ugly design on Microsoft Publisher, but I didn't care. Like I said, I just wanted to get as much as possible. So this was probably like one of the most effective promotions that we've ever done. But this grill right here, we went and bought this grill from Home Depot. It was like $400 at the time. We put it together and we just stuck it right in the middle of the dining room. So when people walked in, it was like the first thing they saw. And we put sign-up cards everywhere. Of course, we also pointed people to like an online survey to try to get as much people online, so it was automated as possible. But we had about 3,000 people sign up for that promotion, and I think we ended up paying like around 25-30 cents a piece. So that was probably the most effective way, and that was like sort of right at the beginning. That was really kind of what jump-started our list building. As I mentioned, whether you hate it or love it, Facebook and Instagram right now are kind of the most effective ways to target new customers who maybe have never heard of you before, or existing customers that maybe aren't on your list. You can really, especially if you already have a few emails, you can build a lookalike audience of your customers. But tons of things you can do there, and efficiently as well. It's completely automated, as you'll see in a little bit. So if you don't have a list, go grab a piece of paper and a notepad and stick it on your front counter. Start collecting yesterday. All right, now we've got some contacts on your list. We need to nurture them, give them reasons to come back. So you kind of want to decide on, how you want to do this. You definitely can't do it manually as your list starts to get, our goal for our customers is to get to 10,000 people on your contact list. And the reason is, once we were to do that with our restaurants, there's this consistency where every time we would send out a message, we would see the traffic spike for the next 7 to 10 days. So it's once you hit that threshold, you really can start seeing some consistent growth there. So for email, we started out with Constant Contact and then moved to MailChimp. Now we're on ManyChat, but there's several others. You can do your own research and figure out which one works for you. For texting, again, there's several out there. But as you can see in all three of these, ManyChat, it integrates with the whole MetaSuite. It allows you also to do email and SMS. So that's sort of what we're using today. That's what we put our clients on. But here's some examples. MailChimp is probably the better email platform for beginners. It's pretty easy to get started. It's free for the 2,000 contacts. Although once you start building in some automation, they will start charging you. So here's you can see some of the past campaigns that give you open rates, click-through rates, most of the basic information that you would need. With ManyChat though, you can get pretty sophisticated with the automation. This is just a little example of one of our flows, but it's probably worth the learning curve to figure it out. Like I said, you can also do texting and with that as well. So then we want to talk about frequency. We don't want to bombard them. And I learned this lesson the hard way. There's sort of a diminishing returns after a certain point. So when we first started doing this a decade ago, we were doing a lot of direct mail. And obviously now we're doing it with email, text, and Facebook Messenger. But as our audience grew to over 10,000, it was costing $5,000 or $6,000 to send out a postcard. But on the way up to that, it was maybe 1,500 to 2,000 when our list was only like 3,000 or 4,000 people. So when I started noticing the traffic spike every time we sent out a postcard, we went from doing it monthly to every 2 weeks. Didn't have the same effect. So you sort of have to know your audience. I would say email, you could get away with up to weekly because a lot of people aren't even going to notice those emails. Texting, though, is sort of like a direct line of communication. It's going to be seen if it's delivered. I would limit that to 1 or 2 times a month and kind of save those for your strongest offers. Same with Facebook Messenger. If you get permission to send them direct messages, they're highly likely to be seen. So you want to save those for, maybe flash sales or, your most valuable offers, basically. So what type of content can you send? News specials, limited time offers, events. We already mentioned kind of birthdays, anniversaries, kids' birthdays. It doesn't really matter. Just come up with a reason. Hey, we over ordered on X, so get it for Y. If that makes sense. Like here's, again, this was my novice design skills back in the day, but it worked. Hey, pulled pork eggs Benedict or a smoked prime rib sandwich. Some specials that we ran for looks like way too cheap back in the day. Again, we're doing a lot of email and texting these days, but 10 years ago, when we were building this up the first time, we used direct mail. So here's a birthday postcard. You can actually buy from a data provider a list of people in your area with birthdays in that month. So not only did we have people on our own list that we knew their birthday, we also would buy 1,000 additional contacts in our area, and we probably get about 10% of these back. So we'd send out 12 or 1,300, the 1,000 plus whatever we had on our list. We'd probably see like 120, 130 of those come back. Here's a family pack that we tested sort of post-COVID. Things were opening back up a little bit. I don't remember the exact date when we were testing this. But again, you can buy, if you don't already have the information of your own list, we bought a list of people who own their homes with kids and made at least $100,000 in our area within 3 miles of our restaurant, and we sent these out. And I was a little bit nervous because normally we're doing $10 to $15 offers, and this is almost a $60 family pack, but we got about an 8% response rate on these. So really knowing your audience, knowing what kind of offer that might resonate with them is the key to making this work. Another thing I just wanted to mention, 80-20 offers. You probably heard, it's called the Pareto principle, that 80% of your profits come from 20% of your customers. You could also say 80% of the production comes from 20% of your staff. But the cool thing about this is it works on like the next level up. So you could say 64% of your profits come from, would be like 4% of your customers, and like half of your profits come from the top 1% of your customers. So you want to think about eventually what kind of high-end offers can you create for your diehard loyal fans. And I first heard about this a couple years ago and never really could come up with an idea to test until a friend of mine in a different industry, he told me about this service for life, membership for life thing. So of course, me with my marketing brain wanted to test it out. We sent out one email, and we said we're gonna reserve this for 4 people. Give us $5,000. You're gonna get barbecue for life. And had no idea if it was gonna work, but we actually got 2 people to subscribe. So that was a quick $10,000, and now we get to use that money to run ads and drive traffic and find new customers. So something to think about when you're coming up with content ideas. Automation. So this might seem overwhelming. I know I'm kind of flying through this, but as you start getting things in place, you're going to want to automate this so that you don't have to, especially for new customers, you don't want to have to send them something every week. Once you set this up once, it can run forever. So again, back to ManyChat. This is sort of one of the first versions of this. It's a little bit different now, but when they opt in, they might get a little coupon code, and then we've got conditions that are checked, whether if they meet one thing, they get this email. If they meet another thing, they get this email. We're asking for a review. Then we're pointing them towards another one of our popular meal deals, followed by like a text offer. And then, all these are broken up. We generally try to build out 12 pieces of content, 12 touch points over the first 120 days. So about every 10 days, they're going to get something from your restaurant. At least that's how we do it for our clients as well. So like I said in the beginning, we want, especially new customers who've never heard of you before, to come in relatively quickly, 2 or 3 times within the first 2 or 3 months, so it starts becoming a habit. Now, as you start building your list and you start communicating with your customers, it's going to work. It's going to bring people in. But if you're not ready for that, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt you faster than maybe where you're at right now. Because all marketing does is accelerate what you're already doing. So if you're already, doing well, it's going to increase how well you're doing. Sales are going to grow, profits are going to grow. If you're struggling, if you're having staffing issues, if you're getting customer complaints, if the food's not consistent, it will increase the speed in which people figure that out, and then they won't come back. So just know that the foundation has to be there, the basics before you get started. And I will say a couple of books that were pretty good by Jim Sullivan. I think he was with Applebee's from store 45 till 2000. So Wealth and Knowledge. 2 of his books that I'd recommend. Fundamentals probably first, and then as you get growing, multi-unit leadership. Communication with your staff. This is not for the employees. It's another important thing. There's a couple pieces of software that make this pretty easy. We use Slack with our managers to communicate. This is like a messaging service, but it's takes it out of people's phones. And plus, I'm on the computer a lot. You can send files or set reminders. Loom, using that to record this video, actually. Loom is a great way, and you'll see in a second, for training videos. And then we also have this LMS platform called Thinkific, where you can have courses. We have, training courses for new hires that they run through. Basically, as you're creating all this marketing content, whether you're running specials or new limited time offers, you need to make sure that everyone is on the same page at your restaurant, because the worst thing that can happen is someone bringing in, one of your messages to redeem an offer, and then, the staff doesn't know what they're talking about. Knowing that we're going after new customers, and a high percentage of these people that redeem the offers, because we're targeting potentially new customers, one thing that you should think about is just design that experience. If someone's never been in your restaurant before, what do you want them to experience? Should the general manager go introduce themselves? Should they get, a free little appetizer or something, something to say thank you for coming in? Just design that experience, make it an SOP, a standard operating procedures, and train your staff to follow that. And again, like I said a minute ago, this is some of our training videos for recipes. But I would say you should also define, that customer experience is a sales funnel in itself. You want to take that customer through these exact steps. Make sure that your staff knows that. So, that being said, if you implemented all that stuff where we're capturing customer information, we're nurturing them by sending out messages, and then giving them a great experience when they come into your restaurant, you think that would help out your restaurant sales? For sure. All right, that's all we got for you today. That's sort of the overall strategy. Stay tuned. We'll be diving deeper into each section, showing you how to do this for yourself.